Hi everyone, welcome to the weekly SEO. Today I have an amazing guest again. Aiala Icaza is with us. Welcome, Aiala. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you very much for having me.
I'm so happy to be here with you today.
Same.
It's a beautiful day in Turkey. How about there?
It's the first day we're seeing the sun after a week of just rain and horrible weather, so I'm actually happy about it.
Yay!
Yeah, I mean the rain is coming back again next week, but we'll enjoy the weekend with a little bit of sun. So all good, all good. Can't complain.
Vitamin D after a rainy week would be lovely
Exactly.
for you. Yeah. So we are waiting for people to attend for a little bit, then we can start.
Of course.
It's it's the end of Ramadan in Turkey right now. There's a really heavy traffic right now. I can see it. There's a main road here that connects Asian side and Anatolian side of Turkey. I live in Istanbul, and people try to travel around right now. They are going to probably they plan to visit their homelands for Bayram holiday, Ramadan holiday. Hi, Brenda.
Hi. Oh, so it's Eid weekend or Eid weekend. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, correct?
Yeah, it's eight weekend. Yeah, we will have Ramadan. We will celebrate it. You know, it will be for 3 days, and it will start on Monday. But you know, since it's the beginning of weekend, people will start to travel.
Oh yeah, yeah. And probably traffic is going to be crazy all over the place and all over the place.
Yeah,
So
they're
sorry,
everywhere right now.
I'm drinking. It's just my throat is a little bit dry.
No worries, you can drink. Hi, Tuba. Hi, everyone. We can start if you want.
Yeah, I'm happy to go then.
Yes.
Great. So, I mean, thank you very much for having me again. Today we're going to be talking about digital sustainability. I've tried to call it saving the world one website at a time. Um, I wanted to make sure I'm no expert on this. What I'm doing is actually sharing my journey and Reflex journey as well. But again, we're no experts on this. We're starting to understand what's going on, and I wanted to share with everyone the findings I've discovered recently because they're quite eye-opening. And I don't know, it would be amazing if we could all start sharing our journeys and what we're doing, what's worked, what hasn't worked, because like this we can all learn together and get to this stage where we live in a perfect world with no issues with the climate and everything. um so yeah, a little bit about me. I've been working in SEO since 2012. I started in Germany, then I moved to Malaysia and I started working in agencies in Malaysia, and I've also lived for 5 years in Dubai. And sorry, my Alexa just turned on suddenly out of the blue. And now I'm living in Spain because I'm actually from here. I've worked in agencies, I've worked in-house as well, and I've been working with food aggregators, multinational beauty brands, luxury cars, regional banks, telcos, like everything you can think of, really. Something fun about me, I trekked to the Everest camp for my 30th birthday. So actually the picture you see there, that's me on my 30th birthday reaching Everest base camp. And we fundraised money for Syrian refugees in Lebanon. I also installed a water filter in a small village near Mumbai. And it's a fun fact because I actually hate Indian food and I had to spend 3 days without eating anything. So that's a really fun thing for me to do. And I have a weird small obsession with tiny goats. So everywhere I go, if I see a goat, I'm going to pet it. Anyway, enough about me. Let's move into sustainability and the digital world, and what we're going to cover today. So we're going to start with a really brief description of what carbon emissions are and Why should we care? Again, I'm not an expert on carbon emissions and climate change, but I've tried to understand it and, like munch it a little bit for you guys to understand it better. Also, how's digital contributing to it? The Google promise, which is really interesting, and what can we do to reduce the impact? Again, this is going to be some actionable points that I've discovered that I think we can all start activating ASAP. So first of all, what are carbon emissions? Essentially, anything a human does, any activity we do, it throws carbon emissions to the atmosphere. So from breathing, driving, also all of the industries, obviously gas and oil are the worst one, transport, agriculture, all of them, they transfer carbon emissions to the atmosphere. And whilst it's not a bad thing in small quantities, because obviously even plants have carbon emissions, it's not a bad thing in small quantities. The problem is that we've increased them so badly that it's affecting the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect pretty much helps to regulate the temperature in Earth. But as we're throwing so much carbon emission to the atmosphere, it's affecting and increasing and amplifying the natural carbon effect, causing crazy climates. And we're seeing it right now. And this is why we should care. We're seeing the weather going crazy. The tropical storms are not only in the tropics anymore. I've had here in the north of Spain, which we're considered to have a closer climate to the UK than the south of Spain. We've had tropical storms. Going back to the UK, overall, we've seen crazy weathers as well, crazy waves. Obviously, we keep on hearing about the level of the sea growing and increasing. It's happening every day and it's impacting some towns already. Staying a little bit in the UK, because this is a crazy one. This weekend is the perfect example on how they have a heat wave going on right now. Right now, it's better to be in the UK than in Spain. Because in Barcelona, I'm not sure the temperature that it is, but I don't think it's higher than 20 degrees. Here in Bilbao, we're at 19. I'm not sure in the UK, but what I've heard is that it's going to be really, really warm. Like Spain is suddenly the UK. It's crazy. In the meantime, here in Spain, we're not getting as much rain anymore. We have a massive drought in the south. So meaning our agriculture cannot function properly. And we've all heard about the crazy wildfires in California, but this is also happening in New Zealand. It's also happening here in Spain because of the no rain. We're destroying our forests because of the wildfires. So, if this is not something that impacts some tropical countries or some specific regions, this is affecting all over the world. Of course, I've focused myself in Spain and the UK because it's the closest to me right now. But I've seen this happening even in Dubai and in Asia. You can see every day how the weather is just wildly changing. And how's digital contributing to these carbon emissions? So first of all, we have the gadgets, the internet, and every system that supports this. It's around 4% of the global emissions. The pandemic only helped increasing it. So it's quite a bit. It's not the biggest, obviously, but it's quite a big chunk that we have there. A typical online campaign, think about your typical paid campaign, is 5.4 tons, which is 43% of the average annual carbon footprint of one person in the UK. It's a lot. And if the internet was a country, it would rank 5th. And I think it was after Japan, US, and I can't remember if it was China and Germany and something like that. Think about it. It's true that obviously this is worldwide, so it's a lot of people consuming the internet, but we just have to be aware of how we are contributing to the carbon emission and the footprint that we have. Also, again, we all know since the pandemic, everyone's just turned more into their computers, more into our internet, more into our Netflix and our Disney Plus and whatever it is. And so this is only expected to double by 2025. But there are good news in the digital world. And this is why we're going to even love even more our digital campaigns and our SEO and everything. Because the good thing is that yes, we pollute because it's a human activity, and as we know, every human activity pollutes, but it's not as horrible. So as you can see, 1 hour of streaming in Europe could be Netflix, it could be a call like this one, equals 3 kettles boiling or 250 meters by car, meaning it's better to have 1 hour of a video call in Europe than go to the office that is probably a couple of kilometers away by car. So, I mean, this is great news, right? The reason why I've said Europe, and I've mentioned it specifically Europe, is not because I'm here, it's because in Europe, the data centers don't, don't depend as much in fossil fuels. They use greener energy, and I'll come back to this a little bit later. Also, our technology in general is younger. Obviously, it's just been for what, like, I'm going to lie this here, but 20 years? More actually, damn it. I'm older than that. Let's say 50 years.
Me too.
So, yeah, I'm like, damn it. I've already been 10 years in SEO. What am I saying? So still is young because we're young. So data centers tend to be more efficient, as I just said. They're not dependent on fossil fuels, and they actually can work with more energy efficient sources such as recycled seawater, on-site solar energy, circular economy, and regular outdoor air instead of things like AC, for instance. So this is amazing because, I mean, we're being powered by clean energy. So yes. And this actually links directly to the Google promise, because so Google has said that by 2030, they want to be carbon free completely. All of their services need to be carbon free completely. Right now, their servers are using what I've just mentioned in the previous slide. So in California, they have some of their servers in California. We all know. I'm guessing we all know, but we might not all know. California has a massive issue with water. There's a lot of waste. Obviously, you see all the pools, you see all the golf courses. It doesn't rain much there either, and that's why they have also the wildfires. So the Google was like, okay, we need to be aware that our data centers are here, but there's a problem with water here. So what can we do? So they decided to use recycled seawater in order to cool down their data centers. So this is one of their ways to become more energy efficient. I've heard a lot of people saying like, oh, this is greenwashing. It could be as well, but at the same time, as long as they're helping and they're giving a little bit of their help to the world, let's just welcome it right now, because this is what we need. Big corporates saying we're going to try it. But there are other ways that they're trying to be eco-friendly and actually help us as users to become more eco-friendly, and they have really cool things that they're working on. So the first one is Google Maps. It's supposedly it's already working in the US. I'll be there in 2 weeks, so I'll try it out, hoping it will work. So pretty much what it does is, if you want to go from A to B, it's going to give you 3 options. One is going to be the most eco-friendly one. Second would be the shortest one, and the other one is the usual one that they always give you as a plan B that no one uses really. So some people will be like, oh, come on, Aiala, the fastest route should be the most eco-friendly one. Not always, because it depends obviously in the type of road you're going through, the speed you're driving at, and all of this, and the traffic that it has. So, and it's going to be by default the eco-friendly route that is going to appear. So that's really cool. Travel-wise, you might see it already when you're looking for flights. Imagine Istanbul to Madrid. It will start showing which one is the one that has the least carbon footprint. When it comes to house, it will start when we are looking for our appliances for our houses. It will show us which one is the most sustainable or the most eco-friendly, the one that uses the least energy, and all of this to help us identify which one is the most sustainable option for us. And investments. I'm not going to go into it because I don't know anything about investments, but what I do know is that they also pollute, and that Google is going to help you identify which investment would be the less polluter in this case. So going back to us, our individuals, our companies, what can we do? Because yeah, I mean, we see this is a problem, and we see that there can be things done from our side. And obviously, whilst we still need to push big corporations to change, and I mean, as they've started doing in many countries, remove the plastic bags or make you pay for them, we still need to push big corporations to really take action. But at the same time, we can also start with our little drops of water, creating these big waves. And when I say little drops of water, it's because these things that I'm going to show you, they're quite small actions, but again, this is how we create waves, and this is how mountains are created, by small bits of sand or rocks. So let's just start from a personal level. This is a really, really simple one that has quite an impact, because if you see here, we're talking about emails, and a lot of people, they send thank you or noted emails, just that, with their signature, with pictures, with I don't know what else. And it has a lot of weight and a lot of carbon footprint. You can see in the picture that one spam email is actually the most eco-friendly one, because it only has 0.3 grams. A regular email has 4.4 grams. And then an email with an attachment has 50 grams. So imagine you're sending just a thank you or a noted email with your signature, and the attachment that is already, because I don't know why it's still there, is 50 grams just to say thank you. What it means is that if we remove this thank you email, we're going to be able to save 16k tons of carbon a year. And we're talking about 3,000 cars, diesel cars, out of the streets, or 81 flights London to Madrid a year. Like, that's a lot. 81k, sorry. So one of the things that I've started doing myself is, obviously, my signature is in my email. And if I send you an email, you're going to see my signature. If I reply to your email, you're not going to see my signature anymore. What I've done is I've removed that, and I just have Aiala Icaza and my telephone number. This is already going from 50G to less than 4G. I mean, it's really, really tiny suites, but it's actually helping a little bit to, improve the situation. At the same time, what I don't do anymore, or I try not to do anymore, is send attachments. Everything I try to link it, because that also weighs less, meaning it's going to occupy less space and have less carbon footprint. As I said, little drops. Thank you, Brenda. I think I'm done with the presentation now. This is what I wanted. Moving on to the business level, and this is something that we haven't started working yet on this, but it's something that we have planned, and I'll show you later what we have planned in our company. So yeah, I'm not coming here. I'm like, we're the best. We're not. We're working on it. So from a business level, it's really, really important to educate your teams and have them involved in whatever we're doing. Clients as well. If you have your clients as your allies, it's just going to be easier. And providers, you need to understand that your providers as well affect everything you're doing. And we're not just talking about campaign providers or something like that. We're talking about your energy provider, your water provider, your pen delete provider, all of these things, your notebook provider, all of these things. So yeah, choose them wisely. Make sure that they have sustainable strategies as well, that they're using circular economy, which is the next step, actually, that they're using circular economy, that they're reducing and reusing all in everything they can. And the last one, and this is not sponsored by Google, but it's going to be one of the examples, is choose a video conferencing provider with a commitment to use 100% renewable energy. As we've just discussed, Google is trying to get there. So obviously Google Hangouts, Google Meet, whatever it's called now, it's actually one of the best ones. But I bet there are more out there that are helping with our could be part of the ethical or sustainable providers. Moving on to digital campaigns, some of these are quite logical, but we might not think of it as sustainable, but we've been doing it, most of us. But it's true that I've seen in websites, for instance, tracking and scripts and pixels from advertising being like, just you can actually look at it and be like, how many years do some of these have? It's like, oh, it's from the previous agency of the previous agency of the previous agency. It's like, clean it up. I mean, first of all, it's going to help with page speed. Second, it's going to actually help with carbon footprint and all of that. So yeah, try to reduce it as much as possible. Avoiding ads in video formats because obviously they're heavier, so they weigh more. Educate brands and decision makers on the footprint of the campaigns. This is critical because in the end, they're the ones that will be like, I don't care, just I want the video, so do the video. But if you educate them, they'll be like, maybe instead of a video, we can do something different, maybe even cooler. Who knows? And this last one is something that luckily I've started seeing a movement from all the digital channels actually towards this. So for years, everyone's been like, oh, we need to get a lot of traffic. Now I'm starting to see a shift from people saying like, let's get the right traffic to the website. That's not only going to help us increase our sales and increase our CTR and increase our ROI and all of that, it's also actually going to help us with our sustainable strategy and our carbon footprint. So, I mean, it's just a win-win overall. It's fantastic. I love it. When it comes to technical SEO, the first one is obviously page speed. The faster it goes, the less time it takes for the energy to show you what's going on. It just weighs less. So the less it weighs, the less energy it needs. So it's just obvious, and it helps with conversions and everything. So it's just perfect. Just CDNs with environmental policies. Sometimes it might be hard to find them, but ideally you would prioritize them to against others. Identifying the right servers. So one of the things is the server should be closer to your target audience. So for instance, imagine your audience is in India, try to find a server that is actually in India or close to them. And if also they have environmental policies, then fantastic. I mean, we're winning the lottery here. And overall, switch to green hosting providers. As we've seen, this is still starting to happen. So there are options out there. We also have environmental content strategies. One of them is content pruning, which is really funny because since I started researching for this, I started seeing more and more on LinkedIn people talking about content pruning. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. They're talking about sustainability without knowing about it. So pretty much what it means is clean up your content. So go through the content on your website and be like, how old is this? Is this relevant anymore? Let's clean it up. And I actually saw the other day on LinkedIn, someone did this, and the results of the content pruning was higher search visibility, higher traffic, obviously more engaged because the content you're providing is actually high quality and highly relevant. So it's just benefits all over the place. Yay. Create actionable content. Don't just go with the mumbo jumbo and be like blah 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 blah. Make it actionable, make it relevant to the user, make it something that is interesting and valuable. Don't just create content for the sake of creating content. For years we've been like, we have to create content. It's not like that anymore. Now we have to think humans. We have to think, what do they want? Do we really need to create all this mumbo jumbo content that nobody cares about, or are we really creating content that is valuable? And obviously content end of life, meaning obviously some content will be evergreen, but not all of it. So we have to think, is this content for only valuable for this year? Is it going to be valuable for the next 10 years? If it's just for this year, that's okay. You can create it. Let's go back to content pruning after a year and make sure we clean it up again. And obviously easy to find. This is linked to the next slide with this user experience. But if we have all the content that is easy to find and not hidden, it's going to take less space. It's going to take less clicks. Every click is also energy consumed. Energy consumed means more carbon footprint. So let's have that in mind with our content strategies. Moving on to UX. This is a funny one. So obviously reduce images and make them as small as possible. And you'll be like, come on, Aiala, I can't do that. Well, it's hard. I know. Let's try it. Let's try not to impact the quality of the picture either. But the smaller they are, the faster it's going to load. You can use the styling such as CSS and SVG to reduce the size without affecting the quality. So that would be amazing. Simplifying images. And I know I just mentioned reducing, but simplifying means if you can do them black and white, that's actually going to save a lot of energy, because obviously the more colors it has, the more intricacy that the picture has, the more it's going to weigh on the website, the more it's going to reduce the speed, and the more energy is going to require. And obviously the next two steps are related to the last one that I've mentioned, that is ensuring the navigation content and the journey itself for the user are easy to find, are intuitive, and that the goals are achieved efficiently. And this is the last slide. These are some of the tools that are out there for free. I would recommend to take the information from here with like a pinch of salt, for the simple reason that because they're free, they're not really a deep down research on your sources or your servers or what the service of the servers do and all of that. But it does give a nice understanding of what is happening. So once we have the website carbon calculator from Wholegrain, I mean, it's a really visual and nice way to see, like, okay, maybe we have to improve a little bit what we're doing. This one, for example, is Google says 91% better than other pages. So it's quite good. But we've tested some of our clients and they're like 30. And it's like, oh my goodness, that's not good. So it's a great conversation starting point to use this. And then we have Kavin, or with Kavin.com, I think it was. I think it was with Kavin.com. And it's the same thing. It's going to also give you information that actually can start a conversation with clients, partners, bosses, CEOs, whomever you need to use. And the last one I've put there is the Google Cloud Platform. They have their own carbon footprint. So if you have Google Cloud Platform as your server, you actually can just track it there as an extra report in their platform. Oh, sorry, this is the last slide, actually. Our journey in the sustainability. So we're just starting in this and we're super excited about it. And the first thing that we've actually done is identify who wants to be part of the sustainability committee. So it's me, as you can see on the right side. You might not be able to recognize me, but that's me. Then it's also Donna, Nick, and Nick. So we have two Nicks in there. All of us, we are from different teams. So we have one of the Nicks is HR, another Nick is paid, Donna is SEO, and I'm actually part of the communications teams right now. So all of us come from the different areas of the business, so we can actually help and influence everyone in the company. The second thing we're trying to work on is actually make ourselves literate in carbon footprint, what it means, how it impacts. Nick is working on it right now, so he's getting himself certified. After that, we will go, and then we will try to educate everyone in our company, our business, our partners, our clients as well in this. So if anyone wants to be our ally, they can actually join us. Obviously, this will help us as well identify which one of them will want to join this journey with us. And what else? Yeah, we're going to try to minimize our carbon footprint as a company, starting with who is our energy provider, who is our, what's this called, like pens and notebooks and all of these providers. All of these tiny things, obviously reducing the flights that we're taking, which right now we're going to do it horribly bad because we're flying, a lot of us are flying to Barcelona for the awards, but it's a little.
We're going to be there. Let's meet.
Exactly. We'll chat there as well. We'll have fun. And we needed that as a team. And obviously we're going to make mistakes. It's just this one. But we're going to learn from our mistakes. But what we would really, really love is that this is a conversation that it gets us into communities that are doing the same thing, and sharing these journeys and learning from each other, really, because us on our own we can do a lot of things, but it would be better if we can actually just join our efforts and learn from each other. So yeah, that's me.
Thank you, Aiala. It was a really interesting topic. When we think of in terms of digital, we don't think that it will affect the nature as a result, but when the thing you point out that it actually affects the nature, but most of the people don't realize that. And it was a really inspiring presentation. Thank you for your presentation. And
Thank
if you
you.
have any questions, you can ask from the chat box. Meanwhile, if you want to get our weekly SEO news delivered to your inbox, you can always subscribe to our newsletter via this link below. And thank you so much, Ayala.
It was a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
It was it's an interesting topic to cover.
I mean, I've been in sustainability committees for like 5, 6 years now, and I never thought of digital being such a massive impact in this. So when I learned about it, I was like, oh my goodness, how could I be so naive about it? So yeah, now I really want everyone else to have that um, inspiration, let's say, and be like, yeah, we need to change things as well in our departments. Exactly. Yeah, what Brenda is saying. So yeah, snowballing so that everyone else can actually, and feel more comfortable to talk about it. We don't need to be experts in atmosphere and carbon footprints, emissions, and all of that. We don't need to be chemists and nothing like that. I mean, we're just digital people doing what we love, but that doesn't mean we cannot be sustainable and aware of how it impacts in the world. So, and I think this is the beauty of the digital community, that we've always been so sharing, and mainly the SEO community. For me, it's always been a place to share information and all of that.
And actually, Brenda has a question for you.
So this is the thing, we haven't reached to that point yet. I have been through the partnerships, so that's what I usually do. I work with partnership with other agencies, and a lot of them, they've been super open about it and been like, we want to get into that, or we're already there and we would love to share the story. So from a partnership perspective, I see that other agencies are working towards this as well. Some of our clients, we know that they're already doing their part as well. So obviously we have them as our first priority to start working with them. Some others, we know it might be a little bit harder, such as finance related, they might be a little bit harder. But obviously this is something that we will be working on. And obviously if they come with a, no, we don't like this, we'll educate them to start liking it and enjoying it. Just like when they come with a SEO and they're like, oh, I want to rank #1. And you're like, that's not a thing anymore. You have to educate them instead of saying no. This is going to be the same thing. If we encounter a blockage there, I guess we try to educate them in the best possible way.
The world is changing. They will get used to it.
I have to. I mean, we don't need another pandemic for the world to change again. Please no. But what this pandemic has shown us is that, first of all, SEO is needed. Second, sustainability. I mean, I think we all agree with that. And obviously, the sustainability is a big thing. I mean, as humans, we impact a lot the environment. Like I remember in Dubai, when the pandemic started and we got into lockdown, the first week we started seeing manta rays in the marina, which we had never seen, because there's always boats coming in and out, and suddenly we saw animals there. I was like, this is what we're doing to the planet. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was the same in Bosphorus too. Yeah, dolphins were not too common to swim in Bosphorus. Sometimes you occasionally see them, but when the lockdown happened, they were everywhere.
That's amazing. That would be a dream to see the dolphins swimming on the Bosphorus.
Yeah, I know. Thank you, Ayala. It was a really inspiring talk today. Thank you for being with us. And have a nice Friday. Have a nice weekend, everyone. And for Turkish listeners, okay, Brenda has another question. I don't want to finish the live stream without answering it.
Go for it. I can't see it. Oh, there it goes. I know that in the UK there is one. Don't ask me the name right now because I can't remember. But so some companies like Bima, they're doing things that are joint efforts, but I haven't seen anything outside of the UK. So that's why I'm like, I want it to happen, like maybe in LinkedIn, maybe in the WTS community, or in any community that we can create. I don't mind, but like let's be open about it on LinkedIn first, because that's where we can actually reach more people. But no, I haven't seen, and if anyone knows of it, just please let me know, because that would be amazing.
So thank you for your question, Brenda, and thank you for your answer, Ayala. So have a nice weekend, everyone. Have a nice Ramadan holiday for Turkish people or any other people who will celebrate it.
Exactly.
You're all out of this world. Have a nice holiday, everyone. Bye.
Have a lovely weekend. Bye.